What is your favorite sex scene in the Bible? That one where David cuts off and skins 200 ducks. The one where a teenager cheated on her fiancé and was so scared to tell him she said she was visited by an angel of the Lord who impregnated her with the Savior of the universe. Genesis chapter 6 describes fallen angels finding the daughters of mankind to be beautiful, so they took whomever they pleased and had offspring with them, who were the Nephilim, historically translated as giants, the mighty men of old. Genesis 6:1-4. When man began to multiply on the face of the land and daughters were born to them. 2. The sons of God saw that the daughters of man were attractive. And they took as their wives any they chose. 3. Then the Lord said, My spirit shall not abide in man forever, for he is flesh, his days shall be 120 years. 4. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came in to the daughters of man and they bore children to them. These were the mighty men who were of old, the men of renown. I like the bit where a woman claims she was ducked by God and then the lie continues for 2,000 years. That cheating cover-up story that gave rise to Christianity. Non-canon, Enoch was really popular with the angels. They even took him up to heaven to show him around. He ended up inviting some angels to his parties on earth. They showed up and everyone loved them. They would get drunk and hang out. Well, a few of them started having sex with the mortals, which was pretty chill until a few of them got preggo. Oh man, the kids that come out when angels and humans bang is real not cool. Giant rock monsters basically are how they are described. Anyways, God saw these insane rock children running around and was, ah hell naww. And he called up his boy Noah and was, yo, I'm flooding this shit, build a boat, no rock monsters allowed. Is there any website where I can read the Bible in simpler language? Probably that time the Israelites blamed a plague on people marrying foreigners, thereby displeasing God, so this one guy that's just over it gets up and stabs a newlywed couple through their stomachs, mid-coitus, on their wedding night. Numbers chapter 25 verse 6-9. Just then one of the Israelites came and brought a Midianite woman into his family, in the sight of Moses and in the sight of the whole congregation of the Israelites, while they were weeping at the entrance of the tent of meeting. When Phinehas son of Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he got up and left the congregation. Taking a spear in his hand, he went after the Israelite man into the tent, and pierced the two of them, the Israelite and the woman, through the belly. So the plague was stopped among the people of Israel. Nevertheless, those that died by the plague were 24,000. I took a class in college that broke down the Bible as literature, discovered way more sex scenes in the Bible than I ever realized. A man goes into a city and finds out that everyone in the city are sodomites. The city dwellers saw some fresh meat and started chasing him. The man fled the city and found refuge in a farmhouse. The sodomites from the city followed him all the way there and demanded that the head of the house release his guest so they may sodomize him. The head of the household told them that sodomy is a sin and offered a second option. He sent all his daughters and female slaves to the sodomites so that they wouldn't have to sin. In the morning the head of the household discovered that one daughter and a slave escaped from the sodomites and came home. So he had his daughter and slave killed. The end. I mean, there's that snuff film where David sends a dude off to die so he can sleep with his wife. There's also a tale of a 3-day bestiality session where there's nothing but a 72-hour swallowing session. The one where Mary gets stuck while doing the laundry and her step-prophet has to help her out. Mary getting pounded by Ultra Chad God while Joseph sits in the corner of the room crying like the little cuckbitch he is. The one where Jesus gets nailed by a bunch of Romans. The extreme BDSM was a bit excessive, though, could have done without the spear through the heart. I'm surprised no one has already said the Samson orgy for 7 days locked in just before he got his hair cut off. The one where God ducked us all and created humanity. I always enjoy pointing out when Onan was ordered, by Judah, to duck his brother's wife, which he did. But God killed Onan after he willingly nutted in the dirt instead of shooting up club inside his sister-in-law's guts lol. It's the reason the Roman Catholic Church still frowns upon fapping and labels it as a grave sin lol. Condoms are wasted seed, too. Ah, those wacky theists. Take a moment to pity Hosea, whom God ordered to marry an unfaithful woman who would cheat on him so that she could symbolize how them damn Israelites kept foolin' around with other gods. When she runs off, he has to buy her back from the man she's shacked up with, because God ordered him to. Hey God, maybe you could, appear in a burning bush or something awesome like that instead. Duck off Hosea, you're marrying the slut. Judas, did you just betray me? With a kiss. Judas bit his lip, blushing. Jesus tossed his hair back behind his ear, his cheeks turning pink. The one when David's son Absalom overthrown him with a coup, and to symbolize his dominance decided to duck every one of David's concubines on the roof of his house, so that all Jerusalem could watch him. Let's not forget that at some point it was only Adam and Eve's kids in the world. And some serious reproduction was needed to populate the whole world. Just saying. Ezekiel chapter 23 verse 20. The scene where God ducked the whole planet and only one boat survived. The one where the dude pulls out, and God is like, bruh. I made sex end like that so you could make more people. Then God kills him or something. It's in the Old Testament after the Torah but before Isaiah. I love the story about Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra. They got it on and the walls fell. There's an old dude who had 2 sons, both had the same wife and both died because God didn't like them. So the old dude's daughter-in-law disguised herself as a hooker and hooked up with him without revealing her identity. She later had a reunion with the dude and had children with him. Yikes. Update 1. Thanks for reminding me about third son. Since his daughter-in-law was a widow again. The old dude promised to let his youngest son take her as a wife once his son is at the age suitable for marriage. However, the old dude didn't fulfill his promise. It was then, his daughter-in-law plotted the hooker plan. Update 2. Thanks for all the upvotes. I am absolutely flattered. We're reaching fetish levels that shouldn't even exist. David and Bathsheba. David was the king of Israel and one time noticed from the roof of his palace a beautiful young woman bathing, Bathsheba. He has his way with her and she gets pregnant, problem is she is married. But it's no problem for King David, because she is married to one of his soldiers, Uriah. David tried to get Uriah to sleep with his wife, to cover up her pregnancy, but he refuses to leave his post and stays with the troops. So David commands Uriah be sent to the front lines of the battle, where he will surely meet his death. He dies. Uriah is now out of the way, they get married and Bathsheba has David's baby worry-free. And then that baby dies. But later she does give birth to the future King Solomon. The one where God kills a guy for coming outside instead of properly impregnating his brother's widow like he should. It's not my favorite because of the sex, but because of the revenge. In Genesis chapter 34, this woman named Dinah is hanging out when this dude going by sees her and rapes her. He is some prince or something and infatuated by her, so he and his father go to her father begging to marry her. Her father, Jacob, hears this and is like, she can't marry him, you all are not Jewish. But I guess I could be convinced if you and your kingdom's men were circumcised. So father and son are super pumped and go and get circumcised along with all the men of the kingdom. While they are still in pain from the procedure, Dinah's brothers go in and slaughter them. Edit. Jacob not Joseph. Edit 2. Brothers not brother. Never thought I'd consider picking the Bible up again. Downvoted in less than 10 seconds. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister, and said unto Jacob, give me children, or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, am I in God's stead, who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, behold my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah her handmaid to wife, and Jacob went in unto her. And Bilhah conceived, and bare Jacob a son. TLDR, wife and husband spice up their sex life by letting the husband duck the maid while the wife watches. Maybe she joined in, it doesn't say. In Numbers 25, a bunch of Israelite men are assimilating with Moabite women against God's wishes. This means having sex with them and worshipping their god, Baal. God orders all of them killed, and as this purge is happening, one man thinks it would be okay to do the same, but just with a Midianite woman. Haha, not do fast. Phinehas, son of Eleazar, priest of the Lord and filled with the Lord's zeal, sees this and goes into their tent with a spear. Being the Chad he is, he plunges the spear straight through both of them as they're doing the deed, thus ending the purge. Mine is the one where Mary is just chilling by herself but somehow gets pregnant anyway. Obviously Lot and his daughters. That one where the two sisters get the dad drunk. Their mother is still salty about it. The one where the prophet Ehud pegs King Eglon on the toilet with an 18-incher and Eglon just fully squirts. Hot AF. Judges chapter 3 verse 12 through 30. The one where Joseph doesn't F Potiphar's wife. That scene where Mary had an affair, and got knocked up, and they had to make up a lame explanation in no time. Joseph chose to pretend that he believed it as Mary was the hottest girl in town. Things got a bit weird after that. My favorite one starts at Genesis chapter 19. Sneak peek. Come on guys, don't rape these angles. That's rude. Rape my virgin dater instead. Your navel is perfectly formed like a goblet filled with mixed wine. Between your thighs lies a mound of wheat bordered with lilies. Your breasts are like two fawns, twin fawns of a gazelle. Song of Songs 7-2-3. The one where God metaphysically forces himself on this random girl, then sends his employee to tell her that by the way you're pregnant now and are having my boss's kid. That one was pretty wild. Adam and Eve make Cain and Abel. Then Abel ducks his sister wife and makes a bunch of babies as if to make one without some genetic defects due to incest, and we all wonder why the hell we're so ducked up and he flooded the earth. There's surprisingly little mention of Song of Solomon in this thread. Not sure it counts as a sex scene, but there's a verse where some women reminisce about some men who are hung like horses and cam like donkeys. I'm not a Christian but now I wanna read Bible. I'm reading a lot of these and just thinking, wait a minute, gays are getting a scapegoated the duck out of, there's a fair few issues closer to home that needs addressing. The one where God ducks every living thing and just drowns everyone. Not sure if the entirety of Song of Songs counts, but if it does, that one. There's not too many good sex scenes to pick from since it's usually only mentioned when someone does something wrong. All the good, mutually fulfilling sex in the Bible was probably just recorded as, he knew his wife and she begat a son. Whenever the text stops to dwell on it, it's because someone's raping his sister or something. I like the fine psychological symbolism when a snake tempts Eve. And Adam seizes the fruit, and does not know what happens to him. Wait. Before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe, you sexy human.